BHAW Army Wrestling radio show from Jordan Tom, followed by Brian Rowan, and we got another Warts Weekly wrap-up. What's up, Coach?
What's up, fellas? It's good to be back. Let's talk some Army Wrestling. We had a big dual meet last weekend. We got a really big tournament coming up next week, and then a really, really big tournament the week after that. So it's good to be back. Talk some wrestling, take some questions. B-Row's going to try to talk some CrossFit at some point. We're 100% sure of that. But, yeah, it's good to have the game back.
You're just throwing that in there now. For the listeners out there, I was going to spare you guys on talking CrossFit. And I was like, hey, should we just talk CrossFit before it?
No.
And Kevin's like, no, let's get started.
You weren't going to spare anyone. Well, I'll let you tell later what workout you did today, but I'm sure it was something. We'll let the suspense build throughout the episode. Yeah. What's up with you, JT? What's new?
Shoot. Well, I'm turning in my CIF gear tomorrow, so that's big.
That's big news.
Let's let the viewers know that JT, he had a choice. He could have got a haircut or he could have not got a haircut, and went about his life, had his hair looking great, having a lot of flow. But he caved in and decided to get a haircut. He said, he's like, I would have never gotten away with it.
No, listen, man, I'm saying, like, JT, you got good flow,
It was so the top is always egregious. People are always going to have issues with that. It was the sides, and I'll show you what it looked like. It looked like this a day ago. I mean, that's pretty aggressive.
Okay.
That looks like a normal haircut.
That looks like a normal with the title of Mr. Haircut, not Captain. So I did the thing that I didn't want to do, and I got a little trim job, but that's all right. It's the last one.
You did the right thing. You look good. The flow's good. B-Row?
Still nice.
Flow's good. Yeah.
I highly disagree.
I don't know why Brian's got to bring it up like this.
I'm setting my heights on my new goals. So viewers that continue to watch, they'll see it. And full progression. I'm going to get a lot of solid in the back. That's the plans. And definitely some curl on the sides behind the ear. That's kind of the goal.
Yeah, so it won't be long. I mean, we're sitting here, a few months from now talking Army Wrestling, and your flow is like way better than B-Row's, and all he wants to talk about is like toes to bar or something.
Yeah.
It'll be great. As much as I love it, I don't get on here every week to just talk CrossFit or who has the best hair, which is JT. But some Army Wrestling, man. Did you guys you watched the dual meet last Friday, I suppose?
We did. B-Row had the Zoom room cranking.
Hey, what was that? How many got on the Zoom room? I even considered trying to get on there at like 5:30 right before the duel, but it's just too much going on. I wanted to hop on, just say hi. It was just too much.
I could say there's about 15.
Oh, nice.
And then during it, it was kind of weird because during it, you're like, you don't want to talk because you want to hear the commentator, but you still want to be on there. So like, we kind of discussed that like right before, kind of right before it, and just came up with we'll just turn the volume down. And then like when things happen, we'll be able to talk and be like, hey, what was that? So it worked out pretty good. Some people hopped off during the match. Yeah. Some people got on for a little bit and then went off. That picture I put up of Rudy, Christian, Lance Penhale, and Mr. Abraham.
Yeah.
They were on the Zoom until like 2 a.m. apparently.
No kidding.
Yeah. They just kept it going all night.
Yeah. No, man, I'm glad you guys set that up. That's pretty cool. It's good to see people tuning in from across the country to check it out. It's too bad we couldn't have fans. I think we had a couple hundred cadets there, but that was pretty maxed out at what we're allowed to have. So, but it was a fun dual meet. It was a pretty good dual meet, I think, as far as, in terms of competitiveness and, for any fans that were watching, it was kind of back and forth. Some, it really wasn't wrapped up until a couple minutes left in the dual meet, really. So it was an exciting dual meet. It was hard fought, really, from both sides. We came out, on the losing side of it. What I said to, to our team, and I still believe it, it's not like, I didn't leave feeling like we really got beat. I felt like, man, we lost. They were a little bit better than us tonight. I felt like we had a team that was really like, if we had one or two, or really, I felt like a couple of our individuals, they were just a little bit more battle tested this year, could have pulled some things out. We just haven't been in that many battles, and it's a result of Well, it's a result of the training for one. We got to create those battles in the wrestling room. It's a result of the schedule and the way that, the matchups fall. We just haven't been in that many battles that we really needed to be ready for a competition like that. And we were in positions to be able to win big matches. We got some of them done. Some of them we let slip away a little bit. But, man, I wasn't, what I told the team directly afterwards in the locker room is like, I don't need to yell at them. I hurt just as bad as they do that we didn't get the job done. We didn't win, but still really proud of them. I wasn't disappointed in their effort. Kind of disappointed in execution a couple times, but that's going to happen. Nobody's going to have a perfect match. Bottom line is, we just didn't do quite enough to get the job done. It was a good dual meet, and we got to learn from it. And we got a really big tournament coming up next Friday.
Yeah, I think the guys looked very focused, obviously motivated, which isn't hard when you're wrestling a match that means a lot to you. So I think if they come back out same way to EIWA's, man, not only do I think we flip the table on a couple of those if we get the chance to, but I think we're going to come out looking pretty nice coming into.
Yeah, I mean, it was so as a coach, like you never know, if you did a good job, like if your team is ready, you never know until they step out there and compete. But it was, I mean, I felt good about it early on in the dual meet. Like, oh, these guys are ready. I felt good in the preparation, with their attitudes. Even the day before the dual meet, it was like really light in the wrestling room. I mean, the guys were playing games and joking around. It was a really light attitude. And then when it came time to get to work, it was really hard and intense work. So I felt good about that. But then going into the dual meet, like I said, you never know until the whistle blows. And then, once the wrestling started, I felt like we were ready. And you got to capitalize on a couple things a little bit better than we did. But you're right, JT. Like, if we take the good from that dual meet and grow from it, and it moves us forward, then we'll have a really good showing at the EIWA tournament next week, and take a strong group to the NCAA championships. And that's the ultimate goal. It always has been, as long as I'm the coach. So yeah, excited for that.
Before we get into all the EIWA talk, I mean, man, there were some gritty performances out there. I tell you what. And from the young guys, I mean, I was impressed from bottom up, but especially the young dudes going out there in their first star match, Pazook and Montgomery specifically.
Yeah.
I mean, and Chauvin, he looked great too. That was probably one of his better matches of the year. But then the young guys coming out, ice in their veins.
I think, there's no doubt. I think we all agree that, I mean, that was the hardest Chauvin's wrestled all year. And maybe at the end, it's kind of a lopsided score, but, at the end of the first period, that wasn't a takedown. Challenged it. Still don't think it was a takedown. They gave it. If there were a couple more seconds on the clock, yeah, you could have given it, but there wasn't. The time was up. So I still don't think it was a takedown. And then you change one more position, it's a different match. That's a kind of woulda, coulda kind of thing, but he competed hard. And then Montgomery, I expected Mark to win for sure. And but the way he did it showed a lot of poise. And that was a tough competitor he had. That was a good match. But it's good to see Mark come from behind to win a match like that, especially as his first star match. And then Ben Pazook, we expected Ben to get bonus. Like, well, that's tough to say with a freshman. We really expected Ben to win and knew that there was going to be an opportunity for him to get some bonus, and he did it. But he did it in a really impressive way. Like he kept scoring late into the third period. So yeah, that was good. Both of those guys, really bright futures. They can have really bright seasons as freshmen. Their season's not done. Nope. But yeah, pumped about them and the way that they work and in the way they compete. Really like their attitude. There's no doubt. Like they kind of energize the lineup a little bit.
Yeah, it's hard for me to not go match by match because I don't want to leave somebody out. But man, PJ, just like his energy is it's sick. I mean, it just gets you hyped.
Yeah. What I told PJ immediately after the match was just, man, I'm just so proud of you just for your energy in the third period. You're wrestling a guy who's a tough guy. Their guy, Casey Cobb, is a tough guy. And he wins matches because he's tough. He may not have the most diverse offense or whatever, but he's not going to quit. He's a tough guy. That going into the battle. Like, this guy's not going to drop his head. But PJ almost made him. There in the third period when PJ got a takedown to really kind of separate the score, didn't hesitate at all. Put his hands on the guy's neck, wanted to cut him and score again. So that's good to see. That's the maturity out of PJ. Where a lot of people get that takedown, let's ride them out. Let's be satisfied with it. That's a hard-fought win. PJ took him down right away, hands on his neck, cut him, try to go for more. So just really liked, PJ's – he's growing up. a lot in the way that he competes. He's getting a lot more mature, and he's believing in himself a lot more and what he's capable of doing. And he's capable of a lot. So yeah, he's fun to watch. And he's a lot of fun to coach too. So when he's out there, you can kind of sit back in the chair and let him do what he does. He's fun to watch.
Yeah, and I think people
Was there
see
a thought of
score
bumping
on the box score maybe think it was kind of close, but it was a dominant 8-4. I mean, that guy.
Is that what it ended up being? 8-4. That was it.
Yep,
Yeah.
that guy wasn't in it at all. I mean, he didn't even sniff a takedown on him. So.
Yeah. And PJ's he's really hard to take down. So yeah, I mean he had a good performance. PJ did a good job.
Were there any thoughts of bumping PJ up to 57 with Marcus out? Did you guys talk through that at all?
Yeah, quite a bit actually. PJ would have had to weigh in at like 153.5 or something like that. If we were just going to have him wrestle 157, which we kind of played around with, but really it was kind of out of respect, out of for our opponent, at 149, like he's not easy to beat, and we were thinking, well, we've got some other tough guys there at 149, but if it comes down to it and we have to win, 149 to have a chance to win the duel, you got to put PJ out there. And then we'll see who they send out at 57. That Cerniglia is quite a bit better than the other guy or two that they send out sometimes. And, and he was back and he was ready and he showed that he's a good wrestler. But we thought about that a lot. Like, what are we going to do here? And we were prepared to bump PJ up. I thought PJ was, I think he would have won at either weight. But it's just a matter of, what you got to win 49 or what you do at 57 doesn't matter anyway. So that's kind of the approach I took to it. And so we wrestled PJ at 49 to bring the dual meet within reach and give ourselves a chance. And, we know what happened there at the end.
Yeah, I was wondering, based on once we heard Marcus's, I was like, man, are we going to see one, maybe two bump ups, nothing? I mean, it's
really hard to bump people up because, I mean, 1 hour weigh-in's not a lot of time. So you weigh in at 149 to bump up to 157. That's tough.
Do you have a strong opinion on weight?
I have a strong opinion on a lot of these things. But I mean, here's the deal is once you weigh in, you can only descend 1.5% of your body weight a week, which is stupid. So, PJ can come into practice every single day weighing 157 pounds, which he does. And then he can make 149 2 days later. But if you follow the mandatory rules, he can't make 149 for like 4 weeks?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the 1.5% for your body weight a week is kind of just something they pulled out of the hat. It served its purpose 20-something years ago when we needed it, 21, 22 years ago. But at this point, I mean, it's not rooted in science. It's completely unrealistic. Nobody follows it, by the way. It's just, that needs to change. But anyways, that kind of prevents you from being able to shuffle and bump your lineup a little bit.
I mean, since we're on it, so what's your number one solution for it? Would you be a advocate stronger for just no rules? If you can make the weight, Loudon Swain style, or are you an advocate for mat side weigh-in?
Mat side weigh-ins is 100% the solution to almost all of wrestling's weight management issues. But if you don't do mat side weigh-in, a 1 or a 2 hour weigh-in solves the problem. And you don't really need anything else. You really, on a 1 hour weigh-in, you don't need anything else. A 1 hour weigh-in does it because, like, if you can't cheat the system in 1 hour. If you do, it's going to show in competition. So really, a 1 hour weigh-in, you don't need anything else. But if you really wanted to solve all those issues all together and grow the sport and make it better, you would do mat side weigh-in.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise you just get the classic tournament guy versus dual guy versus
guy
versus 2 hour weighing guy.
Yeah, and that's other issues. But these multiple day tournaments, the NCAA tournament, you got to make weight 3 days in a row. You can't, if you're 12 over after day one, that's no good, obviously. So, if you're fluctuating that much, there's going to be a performance issue with it anyway. So
Friday morning quarter is not going to be very pretty.
That's right. Yeah. And somebody may not be there.
So a couple other matches I wanted to touch on. Man, JT Brown comes back after last week. There was lengthy discussion on the podcast and all that. Just came out with a just gritty,
Yeah.
swaggy performance.
I think I saw him
Swaggy.
wear.
If
I
he's
think I saw
watching,
him
he's
wearing,
gonna. You're his new favorite.
Hey,
wearing a chain during the match, wasn't he?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you didn't see it. You did
No,
see
I
it.
thought I saw it. It just, he had
that's a
like,
perma chain, bro.
like, I don't know.
Yeah, he was just moving so much. It was. No, JT did a good job, and
Really good.
and it's a tough guy. He's wrestling, tough competitor. Beat him last year actually, but it wasn't close this time. Close first period, but JT did some really solid things there in the first. That started to kind of add up, into the second, and then the second period did a really good job. Third period kind of blew it open. Some small adjustments technically, from the week before with what he's doing with his positioning primarily, and that's just a result of his attitude. His attitude was better, his focus was better, and it showed. So whatever he's doing to keep it, making that progress, he's got to keep it up because, hey, EIWA tournament for him is going to be a tough one, and our expectations for him, he's not leaving St. Louis, without some hardware, and that's not going to be a cakewalk. So it's it's being prepared for those types of battles.
Watching him get headbutted and just unfazed, like that's BHAW right there.
Yeah, right. I was proud of him for keeping his cool too. I will say, yeah, I thought the ref, in that like 3 penalty points in one match. I get why the ref didn't take more drastic measures there, because it's the last dual meet of the year and there's more consequences. You don't want to end anybody's season.
Yeah.
But 3, unnecessary roughness penalty points in one match, that's a lot. At some point, you got to make a call. And there was one, like just kind of odd stall call in that match too. I think it was and maybe in the second period, JT was on top, got called for stalling, which we didn't agree with at all. I thought it was maybe the worst call of the whole dual meet. And JT, he overcame all that stuff, and had a pretty dominant win. So good on him.
Speaking of worst call of dual meet, I'm going to go with the 3-1 counts of Bobby Hild's takedown feet to back.
I didn't even see it live. I think I was maybe talking to JT, and I turned around. They were all screaming for back points, and I said, if you guys want to challenge it. I never saw it until the next day when I watched it on film, and I was like, it was pretty freaking close, man.
It was close.
Yeah, that was he was on his back for 2 seconds. Maybe the ref didn't get to 2. I don't know, but they reviewed it. They didn't change it. Not really a shocker there, but yeah, that would have been nice to pick up those back points.
Did we have a third-party ref for an independent reviewer or no?
No, and usually don't do that for dual meets. And our camera in Crystal Arena isn't very good, but I even watched it on that camera, and it, I think he was there. You have 4 eyeballs. You have 2 officials out there on the mat. You shouldn't even need review. Is the bottom line. When you have 2 officials, you should not need video review. So it's kind of frustrating there. Couldn't get the call. But listen, I'm not going to keep talking about it because that's like sour grapes, or whatever. But we didn't get the back points. Thought they were there. A lot of wrestling left, so move on.
Well, from top to bottom, it was a very entertaining dual meet. The guys, like we said, they just wrestled. They wrestled their balls off. So
Yeah.
Proud of them and excited to talk some EIWA now.
Yeah. No, I'll pass it along. I'll let the guys know. Hopefully, they made a lot of people proud in the way they compete. We get a chance to flip some of those matches next week. EIWAs, man, it's we've got 10 teams this year. It's a 1-day tournament next Friday, Spooky Nook Athletic Complex in Manheim, Pennsylvania.
Sounds made up.
Yeah, it sounds horrifying.
Is Monster Mash going to be playing on repeat like the whole tournament?
Yeah, that's actually my walkout song.
There you go.
Yeah, when they introduce his teams. Listen, it's going to be, I think we have 45 allocations as a conference. Some weights have 3, 84 has 6. Most weights fall somewhere in between. And there's going to be like some battles for those spots, but this is a year that you got to be really excited to take advantage of an opportunity that we have. Let's send 10 guys to the tournament. That said, it may sound like it's easier this year, but when you look at the brackets, I mean, it's pretty tough competition. Like if you overlook anybody, your ass is out of the tournament. Like if you overlook them, your ass is sitting in the bleachers because everybody's going to be ready to wrestle. Everyone's going to be excited about it. So what's important for us is we are the most excited to compete, like the most alert and the most ready. And if we do that, we'll have a good tournament. We have a chance to score really high as a team, come back with a trophy. And that's always been our goal. So, yeah, the lineup that we're taking, I can share with you guys. We're taking Chauvin, Montgomery, Lane Peters at 41, Ogunsanya, Hartman, 57. 165 is still undecided. We'll decide that later on this week. Ben Pazook at 74, Taylor Brown, JT Brown, and then Bobby Hill at heavyweight. So really heavyweight, really tough decision on who to go with there. But Bobby kind of, made it pretty clear as tough as the decision it is. Bobby made it, a really good case for himself. Bobby's our guy this year. 174, Brad Laughlin did a really good job. Just Ben Pazook came on late, and it's 2-0 with 2 bonus point wins, and we're going with the hot hand there at 174. 165, it'll be Bo Guffey or freshman Clayton Filden. They're going to wrestle off later this week, and we'll see, who gets the nod. I think Will Lucy did a fantastic job, filling in at Lehigh, and he fought his ass off in the dual meet. Was just a little bit outmatched. But it'll be Bo or Clayton at 165. And we feel like we have a squad that we can put a lot of guys in the finals. We have a good day, we can walk out of there with a first place trophy.
I mean, we'd have to get Doc Z on to make the official determination on this next statement that I'm going to make. But I bet from a psychological standpoint, if there's, let's just call it 5 allocations and 10 wrestlers in the weight class, I got to think that makes even the worst guy in the bracket feel like he's got a really strong chance. So every match is even harder than normal. So everybody can say what they want. But when you got a fighter's chance, you're probably going to wrestle your best.
Yeah. Go win a match. That's what everybody in the tournament's thinking. 165, there's 5 spots. Go win one freaking match. Win 2 matches and you're in, right? So, yeah, pretty pumped about that. And all competitors are. Like if you have a pulse and you like wrestling, then you're going to be fired up for this. So it's going to be exciting, and we get to do it all in one day. Starts at 10 a.m. It'll be live on Flow. I think we finish sometime at 6, 7, 8 p.m., something like that. So it'll be a full day of wrestling, and we leave next Friday night knowing these are our guaranteed guys going to the NCAA tournament. We'll know that next week. That's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Are you guys taking any kind of additional COVID protocol to keep those guys safe, between now and then, just to make
sure?
So
we, our team's kind of been split into 2 groups since Christmas, and they're still split up. But instead of breaking down one group even smaller, we're keeping everybody together because our group of about 25 that we've been training with, is our group that's been routinely tested 3 times a week. And so we don't want to split that up, and I don't want to have other people outside of the wrestling room at this point. I want them in the room, because if they're in the room, I know where they're at, and they're around other people who are being tested 3 times a week. So that's really it. We're going to stick with what's been working for us. And it's up to each individual to be extra careful on what they're doing. We don't want to run into that where, if one bad morning of testing, things change pretty quick. So we'll hold our breath. We go into testing at 7 a.m. tomorrow. So by lunch tomorrow, we'll know, how we are for the next couple of days. But we've gotten used to that by this point. We've been doing it since January. So it's just kind of part of it. All right.
I mean, what do you really do, though, to protect yourself? There's nothing you can do if your slug roommate's, doing something crazy you got to go to class, too.
Yeah, so most of our guys are roomed with other athletes who are also in season. So there's some motivation to make sure that everybody year-round is doing the right thing. And we still had some issues. We just had a couple guys last week, that just got out of quarantine. Or you may have seen them in a dual meet last week. It's kind of part of it. You do as much as you can. It's never going to be 0% risk. It's nobody's fault. It's just, what do you do? It's everybody's being as careful as they can, and still, stuff happens. But yeah, it's be extra diligent right now. Be really careful on everything that you're doing at this point, and let's not get in our own way, before we go compete.
Well, want to get to some questions?
I'm always up for that. It's my favorite part. How many questions do we get for B-Row this time?
We got
I'll-
one for me.
none directed at him, but I can come up with one for sure.
All right. I didn't know if we were going to talk B-Row at Midlands again. We haven't done that this week. If what questions we have for him. But yes, this is my favorite part of the show. I want to talk some Army wrestling. I want to give the fans what they want. So fire away.
I feel like we spare the fans this week of any Midlands talk. Keep it focused on the EIWAs.
Almost, but I ruined it. So I had to bring it up.
I will say that I did get my garage gym insulated today, so we're making progression. The wrestling match should be here in about 30 days. So by that point, we'll be fully functioned. I can start working on specific techniques, and
Yeah.
that's what I'll say today, though.
I know everyone was dying to know that. So
You need to hang up a dream catcher in your gym because you're on Vision Quest, man.
This isn't the first time I've been on a Vision Quest. Ask Rudy Chalednik about BHAW's 2008.
we'll save that for another episode.
All right, so first question coming from Nick. Nick had like 5 questions, and they were all really good, too.
Well, I'm not surprised about either one of those points.
Yeah, no, but every single question, because some questions are like, oh, I would have thought of that, or like, oh, I have that question too. All his questions were like, I was like, wow, I didn't even think of that.
Oh, there's a reason he's General Haley.
Yeah. Other than the 10 stars in the IWA tournament, is the competitive season for the other team members over?
Done. Yeah, and it's that way around the country. There's no more wrestling. Yeah.
But so I can't remember what, I think it was FRL I was listening to. If a guy doesn't have 4 matches, like, and then they go to their conference tournament this week, let's say like the MAC or something, they could wrestle in a dual meet between conferences and
You could. So if you leave your conference tournament with less than the required 4 matches, but none of our guys are in that position. Everybody we're sending already has 4 matches. So for us, it's over. So some teams, if they leave and their guys got 3 matches and they may schedule a dual meet against another team, and they may agree to help each other out and wrestle a match, to get their 4th match. But for us, we're not in that position. We won't be wrestling anybody between, no matter what, no matter who it is, we won't wrestle anybody between conference and NCAA tournament.
That sounds like some shenanigans to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, they want to do right by their kids, but for us, it's just assuming more risk. I don't have an appetite for that. I don't want that risk. And, we're not going to need it anyway. So conference tournament, NCAAs, that's what we're doing.
All right, Mike Gorman asks, what percentage on each? Proud of JT Brown for his composure versus wanted him to club and headbutt back.
100% proud of him for his composure. I think JT was probably getting his clubs in, as they were hand fighting. If I know JT, he's not backing down anyway. He kept his composure. He did a good job, did what you're supposed to do right there. 100% proud of him. Good work.
So this next one, this is a little bit loaded. I wrote it in exactly as how Nick phrased it. Did the great success of our 2 plebe wrestlers and the disappointing 0-4 record of the firsties surprise you?
That's classic Nick, by the way. Phrasing it like that.
Throwing a little jab in there.
Yeah.
I didn't say it in the Borat voice, but it was a great success of the 2 plebes.
Our 2 plebes did a good job. Ben Pazook, major decision to guy that hasn't won a whole lot, and Mark Montgomery beat somebody he's better than. Now, given the situation, great performances by them, and we like them a lot. Like, I think those are performances they're going to continue to grow from. So really good job. Was it disappointing that our 4 seniors that were out there didn't get their hand raised or get to raise their own hand at the end? Yeah, for sure. Looking at, okay, so Will Lucy maybe a little bit just outgunned. He hasn't been the guy the past few years. He's wrestling, a guy that's ranked maybe in the top 10 in the country, or very close to it. Maybe a little bit outmatched. He didn't drop his head. He kept battling. No shame in it. Taylor Brown, I think, is just needs 1 or 2 more battles, to be ready to win that match. And he was close, and just, with a little bit more experience in those situations, he can win it. He's going to have that match again. in about
That
9
match
days.
came down to one exchange, really. It came down to that Merkel takedown. So
That was it. Just get your freaking arm out of there, finish a single leg, and it's a different match. But he didn't, and so it's a woulda coulda type of thing, and give the other guy credit. Like I don't like talking about it this way because it makes it seem like you're taking away something from the opponent. The other guy won. Good for him. We know what happened with Bobby. He just kind of maybe felt a little too confident there in the third period, and that guy is strong. And you let a guy that strong in that deep on your legs, well, you're vulnerable. And of course, Lane, wrestled the number 10 guy in the country, competed really hard. It just didn't go his way that time. They've kind of split matches and gone back and forth. So I forget what the question was, oh, hey, Hope.
buddy.
Hi, B-Row.
Hey.
That's JT. You want to say hi to JT? And then you can tell him good night. All right?
Good night, JT.
All right. See you, bud.
Bye, bud.
There's more than 50% chance he comes back. But where were we at? Totally.
That result surprised. I guess one thing is, did you think of it like all the plebes won, all the firsties lost? Did that cross your mind?
No, no. I mean, I thought all the four firsties. I realized that just because it's disappointing for them. I know how bad they wanted it. So yeah, kind of a bummer, for them. But listen, that's the way it goes. When you have the courage to step out there in competition and lay it on the line, sometimes you get your heart broke. And those guys got their heart broke, last Friday night. But good news is, most of them get an opportunity to come back and compete again. So in the end, it may be catalyst for an even better performance coming up.
Kevin Lieberts asks, what is the status of camps this summer for Army Wrestling?
That's a really good freaking question. So here's the thing with camps. We don't know yet about camps on campus. Should know something like early April about our camps on campus. As long as the NCAA opens up for coaches to be able to travel and be with recruitable athletes, I plan on being gone as much as I can this summer doing camps. So if anybody that's watching is interested in having me or any of the other coaches out to do a camp at their high school or club or whatever this summer, just reach out, find my email, or send us a message, on Instagram or Twitter. Let me know, because I want to fill my schedule this summer doing some camps. I missed it last summer. I love doing it. But the bottom line to answer your question is camps on campus haven't been decided yet.
Stand back and stand by.
What about garage gym wrestling mats? Is that camps there?
Can you run a camp for us? Can you set it up? I'll be there. Set it up. I'm there, B-Row. Let's talk offline. Set it up. I'll do it. Pro bono. I'm there. Do it for the kids.
So Nick asked again, both Army and Navy had both you guys have a large number of wrestlers. Why do we not have a full slate of 10 to 15 backup bouts?
Yeah, it just didn't fit, I think the atmosphere we want for this dual meet. If you've seen it before, wrestling a dual meet and then sitting there and watching basically another dual meet, it just didn't fit, what we're looking for in the way that we present the Army-Navy wrestling match. So maybe in the future we can do something during non-COVID times where we can get the teams together and they can wrestle either before or in a different location. But I don't think you'll ever see this dual meet wrestled and then followed, or wrestled side by side extra matches. It just doesn't fit. It's a good question because those matches can be really valuable. It just didn't fit, for the presentation we want for this dual meet.
It would take away from the prestige of the
presentation. Yeah, I think so. That's what we had ultimately decided. They didn't ask for extra matches, neither did we. I just assumed we were both thinking the same thing.
All right, Sam Rudda asks that we need to address the pink elephant in the room, which is B-Row and his cat.
Oh, it's about time someone brought this up, B-Row. Like, we've all been dying to know. Yes, please tell me.
I'm sure you've been dying. I guess, I don't know what's the pink elephant. Is it my cat? He's a cat. So, like, sometimes he'll, like, come into the screen and I'll, like, move him away.
Kind of like I do my kid.
Yeah. Nobody's hey, Sam, hey Sam Ruda, elephant in the room, Holt's been coming in the screen, let's get to the bottom of this.
Did you just call Holt pink elephant, B-Row?
No,
What the heck, man?
Sam Ruda did.
What's this cat's name?
Willie. So Willie's got one eye. He lost his eye when he was like a few weeks old.
That might be
Not-
the pink
not a
part.
bad fight, but you should see the other cat. And he's a curious cat. So, I'm sitting here, so he wants to jump up and, say hi to the fans.
Well, until B-Row actually goes to Midlands, One-Eyed Willie is more battle tested than him.
I'm glad Sam's out there asking the hard questions.
So Nick asks, do our competitors get an additional year of eligibility due to COVID?
So pretty much everybody around the country, us, the Naval Academy, Air Force, we won't get an extra year. I think pretty much everybody else. Well, not pretty much. Any school that wants to give another year can give another year. So when you look around, I was looking earlier today, I was looking at some rankings and I saw these seniors listed and I'm thinking, well, shit, they're not even senior. They'll be back next year, So anybody that wants it this year doesn't count, for eligibility. So yeah, they can all.
Let me finesse this question a little bit then in a different way. Is there anybody on the team that contemplated maybe taking a year off or being a December grad to get themselves an extra year?
No, no, and no.
I know you wouldn't ask that of anybody because that would be quite an ask, but I was wondering if maybe any of them took it upon themselves like, this is something I want to do.
I promise you, there's a lot of guys on the team that are wishing there was a way to do that.
Yeah.
But then how do you purposely make yourself, a 1 year term back? That's not, that's not someone a situation someone wants to put themselves in. But I would say, what do we have? A dozen seniors, 7 or 8 of them for sure would take it in a heartbeat if they had the opportunity.
I didn't know because when I got hurt my plebe year, there was an option thrown to me and I have no idea if this was even real or just like a spitball on table type thing. But they were like, hey, if you want to be a December grad, we can file you for a medical red shirt. And I was like, no, if I go home, I won't come back. But
yeah, so that's been an option. Sometimes if someone gets hurt bad enough, sometimes they're given the option to do their rehab at home. We tried that with someone last year, actually, and thought it would be really good for them to go home and rehab. It got declined. So they lost a year. They were out for injury last year, so they'll never get that year of competitiveness back. It's just so hard. You see some other sports that it may happen, but with a 2-semester sport, we're wrestling. It's not the most high-profile sport, so we're not going to probably maybe get that consideration at times.
that's fair.
You get 4 years, man, and it was a shitty situation that they lost a season, but that's life sometimes. That's the worst thing that happens to them. They know this, and they'll live a pretty good life. But yeah, Nick, everybody else gets a year back. We don't, so we got to find a way to make up for it.
Boom. Last question from Nick. Last question in general. He wants to know which wrestler impressed you the most in the last duel.
Yeah, in the last dual meet, if I had to say one individual, well, they're all in different spots of their career. I think when you look at JT being able to bounce back from a loss that he really wasn't happy with, and then compete in a different way, you're really proud of that. You're proud of Ben Pazook for doing what he did as a freshman, going out there and just smashing somebody. I'm proud of Taylor Brown at 184 for competing like he did, even though he came up a little bit short. Ogun Sanya, maybe because he's grown up so much, and the way he competes. I don't know if last year he even wins that match. Definitely not, cutting the guy late to try to score again. He didn't even question it, and that wasn't putting on a show. He wanted to dominate more. Mark Montgomery, great job, as a freshman coming from behind and be able to win. So, no, I'm kind of skirting around the answer, and I'm not going to give, an answer to the question exactly other than to say that I was just proud of the team, as a whole. And we gave ourselves a chance. That's what you want in a dual meet like that. If we grow from that, we go from giving ourselves a chance to knowing without a doubt that we're going to win it. We have to get to that point in the way that we're believing and expecting things. But man, I'm glad we have fans like Nick that, that pay attention and, really support our guys, because he's a strong supporter of ours too. And I know he cares about our team. I know he cares about the wrestlers on the team. So without singling any person out, I'd say it was, it was a performance that, several guys shined and everybody can build from.
Well, that's it for the questions, unless Bureau's got anything else.
I'm out. I don't know.
Nobody asked about the allocations this year. Nobody wrote in.
Maybe they all saw them, and we can run through the numbers real quick.
No, I mean, we don't have to do that. I'm just surprised because it's been such a hot topic of discussion. But hey, bottom line is, yeah, we have opportunities, so we're gonna take it. We're excited for it.
Well, Spooky Nook next weekend.
Next Friday, yeah, we're gonna leave. I think on Thursday, compete on Friday, and like I said, next Friday night, 8 p.m., we'll know who our definite guys are going to the NCAA tournament. I wouldn't expect any at-large bids, given the number of allocations we have. Really, any for our conference, I wouldn't expect it, unless you're one of the top dogs, that goes down, has a bad tournament, injured, COVID, something.
This is the follow-on question, but do you see anybody like, not wrestling, across the conference, like, not wrestling at EIWAs because they're like, I don't want to be, exposed to that many people. I'll go out there, I'll weigh in,
No, not yet. So if you want the exemption, if you want to be eligible for an at-large without competing at the tournament, it has to be because of COVID. And if it's that, then nobody from your school can enter that weight class.
Interesting.
So yeah. So let's just say maybe you test positive 2 days before the tournament and you get put in quarantine. You still have an opportunity for an at-large bid with a COVID exemption. Let's call it that. As long as your school doesn't enter anybody at that weight class. Now we have a school in our conference, American, hasn't wrestled all season. They haven't stepped in a competition mat yet. Their first competition will be the EIWA tournament. By the way, they have a returning qualifier at 25 and a returning third place finisher at 149. So they have some tough guys on there. Their heavyweight's pretty good. Their 84 pounder damn good, but he's not wrestling. And their heavyweight's competitive. They got some tough guys. It'll be their first time competing is at the tournament. So some things are going to be interesting. Like Drexel just started competing, and they've got some sneaky good guys too. They're 49 or 57 or 65. Like these guys are pretty good. They're 74. They have some good guys. They're 97 pounder. I think he placed fourth last year. So they have some good guys. So it's going to be interesting because we haven't seen these teams wrestle this year yet. There may be a team that can't wrestle because of COVID. Like you got to be prepared for that. You have no idea. We may show up and there may be 8 teams. I don't know. You got to expect the unexpected this year.
Something goofy is going to happen, that's for sure.
Something spooky.
Something spooky is going to happen. I guess here's another follow-on question before we end it. But is the pre-seeds going to come out at some
next Monday? We should have pre-seeds finalized. Monday by about 3 p.m. They might be released on Monday night, maybe not until Tuesday. But yeah, early next week pre-seeds to come out. They can change up until weigh-ins. Somebody gets hurt, gets replaced, whatever. But pre-seeds should come out early next week.
We'll have to have Chick and Hutch on next week.
Are you ever going to get these guys on the show?
The EIWA EIWA predictions.
It's going to be a throwdown.
Yeah. EIWA preview.
I don't even want. I just want to be on the call and just watch. I want to watch and listen. And maybe I'll award points for each of them. Boom! There's Chicks. He got all 4. I don't even want to talk. I want to be on that call though. I just want to be able to just sit back and watch.
Well, Coach, it was a pleasure. You came at us hot with the pearl snap on, so appreciate you.
Yeah. I said I had to go to work. Hannah's like, "What are you doing?" Some
Army wrestling pearl snaps. That'd be sweet.
I got to go to work. Got to put a work shirt on. Let's go talk some Army wrestling.
Let's get some BHAW pearl snaps.
I think that our gear order may not be finalized yet. We might be able to get those in the store.
That'd be slick.
You want Army wrestling pearl snaps
with barbed wire, like on the sleeves? Yeah.
We're not doing the barbed wire.
Gordon knows I love some barbed wire.
We're not. You have a barbed wire tattoo? Do you have a bicep barbed wire tattoo? B-Row?
It's coming.
It The BHAW tattoo is going to have barbed wire.
Let me see what I can do for the snap shirt. I like that.
I actually mentioned was going to mention that earlier, but we got talking about something else. But
CrossFit
they
problem.
sent me the online store. I didn't realize it had been updated, and like there's flags on there. There's there's.
Are they out now? Are they already released?
Yeah.
Okay.
Flags. There's new bags that are sick.
Okay.
What else did I see on there? There was a Carhartt vest that we could accompany a pearl snap real nice.
Stop! It's out there right now. You guys know more than I do.
Vest. It was a Port Authority vest.
You guys know more than I do. All right, I got to go check it out, and I'll make sure that we get the links out for the gear store. We got
You
you.
sent it to me, and about 16 seconds later, I spent $115. So.
We appreciate the support.
That was great Doge, though.
Yeah, man. Hey, it's fun talking Army wrestling. Let's we can get together next week, after the seeds come out or whatever, and let's stay pumped up, man. Keep supporting these guys. They're doing the right things. They're working their freaking tails off. We're pumped up for the EIWA tournament next Friday. Let's get together again. Talk Army wrestling soon.
Go Army. Beat the EIWA. Stay spooky.
Beat them all. Cool. We'll see you guys.
Thanks for tuning in to the BHAW Radio Show. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe and leave us a 5-star rating on your favorite podcast platform. If there's something you'd like to hear on a future show, reach out to us on any of our social media, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Or you can reach us at email, bhaw.radio@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts, and as always, go Army, be Navy.